What's a conflict? Conflict comes from two Latin words translated into the translated into together, and the fleet as in like fight. So conflict is about fighting together. It means together we still have a common purpose, we still have a common mission,
Right.
we still have a common value, we are still a team. But what we are trying to do is that on a particular subject, situation, circumstance, we are taking different positions.
SMOPPY'S Word. Life big questions answered daily.
Hey friends, this is your beautiful, ever smiling host, Lady Ola. I am so thrilled to have you join us back on SMOPPY'S World. If you're new here, you have come to the right place. Today, we're heading into 2 episodes. We will dive into our discussion today about healthy relationship conflicts. Is it even possible to have a healthy conflict? If you stay with us, you will have the answer to your question. While it may seem counterintuitive, love conflicts can strengthen your relationship. Learning to argue effectively and respectfully allows you to discover more profound aspects of each other. You oppose your boundaries and resolve issues that impact your relationships in long-term health. Despite sharing intimate moments, you and your partner are still unique individuals, and you still navigate life with different perspectives. So if you're ready, my guest and I will explore the importance of healthy conflict in relationships, discussing how it can foster closeness. We will focus on managing those heated moments and actively listening to understand one another honestly. My guest is not new to this show. He's my best friend who took my heart and kept it safe. He's a food scientist, he's a public speaker, and he's the senior pastor and the oversight apostle of Grace Outreach Global Church Worldwide. He's all of that, but to me, he is my husband. His name is Dr. Victor Olusegun Aigbogun. Dr. Vic,
Hey,
welcome back on SMOPPY'S World.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I cannot get enough of you. On this show, we just can't have enough of you.
Good. Looking forward to a lot of money for my time.
Hey, listen, you are the one paying me because I brought you. I'm making you to become, popular and,
I love
and
that. I love
all of that. It doesn't come cheap.
that. I agree.
Today we have an assignment,
Sure.
and we want to really look deep into this issue of conflict in relationship. And today we just want to make it better. So I want to start by saying, in relationships, many at times, people kind of confuse conflict to crisis. So, some thought conflicts are about infidelity in marriage, or their spouse cheating on them. So when they now find out and they start arguing, and some people think that is conflict. So today I want us to start with, I want you to help me disarm anyone that has that in mind and help us to define what a conflict is and what a crisis is.
Good. Again, thank you for having me. So let's look at it this way. What's a conflict? The conflict comes from two Latin words, okay?
Right.
Translated into translated into together,
Right.
and the fleet as in like fight.
Okay.
So it's about conflict is about fighting together.
Right.
Conflict is about fighting together. So what does that mean? It means together we still have a common purpose,
Right.
we still have a common mission,
Right.
we still have a common value. We are still a team.
Right.
But what we are trying to do is that on a particular subject, situation, circumstance, we are taking different positions.
Okay.
To be able to come to a better result.
Right.
That is conflict.
Right.
So that's why conflict is good.
It's good. Yeah.
All right? Because we are still a team. We still have a common mission. We still have a common purpose. However, we are taking different positions.
Right.
So that we can come to a better result to move forward. And so, literally, that's conflict.
Right.
All right? That in relationship, that is conflict.
Right.
And it's simply said as arguing your point out.
Okay.
All right?
Nice.
That's different from a situation where someone is disadvantaged or someone's place of trust has been abused. In a relationship, when you feel like someone has abused your trust, it's not an argument. It's not a together kind of a mission. It's you seeing yourself being devalued and seeing yourself being disadvantaged. And in that situation, you are not arguing a position. You are in a crisis. Okay. Right. And the common mission and the common goal is at risk. And that's what makes a conflict in a relationship different from a crisis in a relationship.
Wow, that's more clearer for me. I don't know about our audience, but I'm sure our viewers, they've kind of understood that now. It's a fact that underlying issues cause most conflicts. Is it right for me to say that?
Yeah, it would be. For every situation have underlying issues. Okay. Right.
So my question then to you is, how can one bring the underlying issues to the surface when resolving a conflict?
All right. Look, before I really be able to answer that question,
right?
Let's just look at the real elements and fundamentals to a conflict in a relationship.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The first part to the conflict is people are taking a position. The couple have taken their position.
Right.
And because they've taken their position in the conflict, the resolution of such conflict becomes easy if they are dealing with facts.
With facts. Okay.
All right. So I'm arguing my position with facts.
With facts.
2 plus 2 in Japan is 2 plus 2 in India.
In India,
2
right.
plus 2 in the United States is 2 plus 2 in Nigeria.
Right.
The answer always comes to 4. Why? Because those are facts. Right? When people are in a conflict, if they are debating or presenting their side of the case with facts, the conflict gets easily resolved.
Okay.
But when conflicts are driven, which most conflicts are driven by emotions. And then you are now in a serious conflict. Because conflict driven by emotions always lock people down to their position. They do not have open mind. They can only see their position. They are attached to that position and their point of argument emotionally. And so every opportunity to be the winner, in the conflict is what everybody takes. Let me give you an example. I've been a pastor for a while, and I've had the privilege to have to intervene and into conflicts of couples, okay? Right. And one thing that many people don't always understand, if you are a marriage counselor or you are a pastor and people come to you regularly, they are young or they are old and they are having conflict. This is not a conflict of he's cheating on me or caught eye in adultery. Those are not conflict. Those are crises.
Those are crises, yes.
But I don't like the way we are spending our money. He wants us to go buy a house. I don't want to buy a house. And those kind of things. When couples come to you, they didn't come to you to resolve their conflict. They have come to you to affirm their position. All right?
Yeah.
They have come to you to affirm their position.
Yes, sir.
So you as the counselor or the mediator or the pastor, you are put in a position where one of them is expecting you to take their
sides.
side. Take their side. Because those conflicts are coming from emotions. And anything that comes with emotion has underlying issues.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Everything that comes has underlying issues. Okay. So I think the best thing always is to, first of all, look at those underlying issues as we take our positions.
Yes.
For example, your husband wants to bring
His mother.
Yeah, to come and live with you. Now, I think that should not create a conflict. I think my mother should be your mother should be my mother. We are into one family. The only reason it becomes a conflict is because there are underlying issues.
Issues between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law.
So it doesn't even start there. It starts with you first.
Right.
That you already have your own underlying issues, your past experiences, your cultural understanding, your friend initiations, the things the society are telling you, what you read the last time you read a book. It's not just everything that is happening between my wife and my mother that is the underlying issue. Some of the underlying issues are coming from your cultural experience.
Right.
Some are coming from your family experience. Some are coming from your educational background. You read a lot of things. You watch different movies. So you prepared your mind against the ideology of having your mother-in-law in your family or in your marriage. That underlying issues needs to be brought to the surface. Now, the first way to do it is to understand that you are not just saying, no, you can't bring your mother. Other than the fact that you need to present the facts. The underlying issues reveals the facts.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you need to come up with your own position by saying, the last time I remember, your mom, before we get married, never liked me. Now, that is not an easy statement to make. So it shouldn't be presented, it shouldn't be presented as the forefront of your argument.
Right.
It should be presented as the background to your argument. The point of your argument is, look, I'm married to you now. I am your wife. You can do everything for your mother, but we need our privacy. And the best way I can present myself better to your mother is from a distance. That's a fact. Because a distant relationship is far better. Maybe, let me tell you this. It doesn't matter how much your mother-in-law loves you. As far as you keep a distant relationship, the love increases. As much as you keep a close relationship, her weaknesses and your weaknesses will start to collide.
Yes.
They will interact more and they will expand and they will build into some kind of emotional conflict. So that is what I mean by underlining issues. Sometimes we are arguing over a situation, but I don't want to talk about the fact that you are a bad spender. But the truth of my position is that I don't want to come across to you that the way you spend money is not the way I want us to spend money. But the truth about it is you should understand that that's a fact. And that fact needs to be presented, not in the forefront, but as a background. And so bringing underlying issues to the surface should be presented as a very subtle fact, because it can aggravate the conflicts and turn it to crisis. Because it's emotions. You are not playing with facts, you are not playing with numbers, you are playing with emotions. The man's ego the woman's esteem. All of that are playing in the background when you are in a conflict. So I think it's important that we find a way to understand what are the underlying issues. Why is my wife so adamant that we don't do this?
Yes.
Why is she taking that position? Why is she not seeing my position? Now, the truth about that is because you must understand first that for every emotional conflict, there are underlying
Issues. Right. Okay. What this episode is about is to let people know that there are healthy conflicts, that people don't have to walk away and avoid conflicts. There are healthy conflicts that can actually make their relationship better. And this is what we're talking about today, guys. So you might want to call somebody and tell somebody to join so that they can also, hear this and get something out of it. So I want to quickly move to what we call heated arguments. This is where conflicts can be resolved or dissolved. So many of us do not know how to handle this part. And this is where it can turn to crisis. So I want to ask you, what are the techniques that we can use to navigate this point?
Navigating heated argument should begin with you understanding that heated argument does not bring resolution. Heated argument is needed, but he does not bring resolution until it is tempered.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So let's first of all look at what really gets conflicts into that heated peak or stage.
Yes.
Let's just look at corporate relationship, okay? Right. We are in a team, and we are in a meeting, and we are trying to have a solution to a situation, and everybody is bringing their own idea.
Right.
You have to understand that there are some people that comes with the mindset of superiority in knowledge. They come to the table that the rest around the table are not as vast or knowledgeable as himself. So he wants them to respect that fact that he knows more than everyone. Now, that can be received by one of the team as factual as what I just said could be, as truthful as what I just said could be. One of the team could receive that from his position of low self-esteem and want to bridge the gap. All right? Every time people wants to bridge the gap, they have to put tension. Oh, you didn't understand.
I actually understand what you're trying to say. And I also believe that we do in love relationship. We also have that.
Yes.
Because the moment a partner feels that he's more superior than the other, this is going to happen.
Exactly. I'm just trying to draw straight to that.
Yes.
Because it's easy to see it from the position of corporate. Okay.
Yeah.
Among colleagues, you have common goals.
Yes.
Right. You are a team. So goes with you and your partner. You are a team. Whatever you are arguing about is to make the team achieve something.
Yes.
All right. So, but the moment you perceive that the other person is trying to undermine your level of intelligence or proving that they know more than you, you might want to try and bridge the gap. To do that demands tension. And that tension generates the heat that we call heated argument. All right. So everybody then starts to speak around making their point known. But those points are not coming from the place of facts. They are coming from the place of emotion.
Yes.
So here's what I want you to do. Understand the fact that you have a position. and that it doesn't matter how long the person speaks, you will have your turn. Always remember that. Even when that person when your partner or husband or your wife is trying to interject you, because the interjection is to generate the tension.
Yes.
All right. So, and you could be the introvert one who would then immediately submit. That would not be a healthy argument. That will not be a healthy conflict, because if you submit, you have not made your point known. The end result could be not good for the team. All I'll say is give each other time. It's talking, just listen.
Actually, that's my next point. That's the next thing I'm going to...
Because heated argument is difficult to temper. So avoid generating it is what I want to talk about. First, avoid generating heated tension or heated argument by giving yourself the time. Let him speak and speak and speak, because every interjection puts a little bit of tension. All right. So avoid that as much as possible. That's number one. Number two, don't give up on your point or position. Use the moment of his talking to develop your thought process. You might get to the point where you reason with him, or you might get to the point that you have a better facts outside of your emotion to support your position. So whatever amount of quietness that you can mount during the debate or the argument, the better you can have a factual point rather than an emotional point. That's two. Number three, always remember that heated argument cannot help the conflict. So avoid it as much as you can. You can leave it for the moment. Honey, we will talk about this later. Let's talk about it. Not that I'm asking you to sweep it on the carpet. I'm asking you to temper. I'm asking you to temper the heated argument, because there will still be a room. Listen to this. There will still be a room where the guy who is creating the tension will be in the better mood to listen. And your point that you have taken your time to build, that's seasoned with facts, will eventually calm down his emotion and appeal to his intellect. That's critical, because every time you are touching the emotion, you are demeaning the intellect. So the moment you get him in the place you need him, or get her in the place you need her, you can appeal to her intellectuality rather than her emotion, or his intellect rather than his emotion. That's how you temper heated argument.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. There's something that I put here that's called listening to understand. Early in our marriage, I avoided conflicts so much that, for years, because I believe that you listen to respond, but you don't listen to understand. But in the past few years now, you've moved from listening to respond to listen to understand. How did you cross that bridge? How did you get there? And how can anyone, a couple is watching us now, how can they move from learning to listen to their spouse, like you've been talking about, when we talk about the heated argument, that everyone will have their own turn. That is important, that when you're listening, you're not listening to respond immediately. You're listening to understand where your spouse is coming from without having to add any emotion to it, but working with facts. So tell us, Dr. Vic, how have you moved from listening to understanding to hearing to understanding?
Right. So let's start with my case. Let me explain my underlying issues.
Okay.
I do in those days of the early stage of our relationship,
Yes.
I do have underlying issues.
Right.
And the underlying issues has shaped my way and my position of dealing with conflict.
Right.
Right. And I kind of thought that will apply to everyone at that time.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I'm attracted to women who are pretty vast in current affairs.
Right.
Women that are pretty strong in arguing issues out, and because it's easy for me to sharpen my sense of
your
debate.
tongue.
And so my ex was on the extreme of that.
Right. So you have
She
to be quick on your feet.
was the 3 times of me in terms of being quick on her feet, being able to pick up a point that will paralyze you in 1 second, say something that will make you feel like, why did I not think about that? And all those kind of things.
Right.
For that 6-7 years of the relationship, that kind of shaped me into that attack mode where I want to
Listen to attack.
make sure I listen to attack. But as we were growing in our relationship, your peace and your joy became more important to me
Right.
than anything else or any other argument we may have. So in moments of conflicts, as I used to do for many years that we were married or we are married, I think when I start to see how much you hurt because you couldn't find a way to present your position, because I'm not letting you present your position.
Yes.
And every moment you try to present your position, I paralyze those things, even though they are facts, and then they switch over to your emotion. And because you don't feel like you want an heated argument, then you just submit to it and you just give up on it. And then that starts to make you very unhappy, change your countenance for a while. You pretend, but I will catch you unaware, knowing fully well that you are really horrified by the way I've handled what's supposed to be a small conflict, and that sometimes you even think I was playing on your esteem. And so I started to work on myself.
Right. So that's the point.
Yeah.
To work.
I started working on myself. I started making the underlying issue for me to be, I want you happy. Your joy is important to me. Your peace is important to me. And so there will always be conflicts. Why? Because we are both looking for a way to get something right for our family, for our marriage, for everything that we are a team for.
Yes.
And so even though in the place of such conflict, I still want to win, right? Because everybody wants to win.
Because everybody want to win, yeah. Everybody goes into conflict to win.
But the truth about it is that I've given up on a desperate winning mode to come to the place of an open mind where I'll let you present the facts and we can move forward with it. And that has helped. It's not perfect, but
it has really helped. And I cannot wait for us to come back and do the second episode. Because we really, whether we believe it or not, we're really helping a lot of people with this discussion, because this is destroying marriages, and people are not able to move past their emotions and their pain and being in the same room, and they can't be in the same room without arguing, and they are still not able to resolve
Yeah.
whatever they are arguing about. So
I would say that even though we have this high level of divorce, there is a presumption that many people think the real driver of divorce is infidelity. All right, but it's not.
It's not. No,
There are trivial conflicts that leads to serious crisis. All right, from choosing where we live to what school the children will go to where you put your things in the house and where I put my things in the house, to how we spend the money in the bank, and all of these things start with very, very simple conflicts, which means we want to get it right.
Yes.
All right, but because we drive them with emotions, we drive them with esteems, we drive them with self-interest, we drive them with a caution of I don't want him to see me weak, or I don't want her to see me weak or vulnerable, and we just defend a position without presenting any kind of proposition. And that is why conflicts have not been adding value, because the best thing that can strengthen a relationship could be conflicts.
It could be conflicts, yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Vic, for joining me again today. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Are we good?
All right. See you then.
Okay, guys, that's what we have for you today. Navigating disagreements with your partner can be challenging, but approaching these conflicts constructively can enhance your relationship. Promoting open communication, mutual respect, and healthy dialogue, it creates a supportive environment to discuss your differences without fear of causing lasting damage. Embracing these conversations strengthens your connection and fosters a more resilient partnership. Guys, thank you for joining us today. Be sure to tune in next week for the concluding part on healthy relationship conflict. If you found this episode helpful, please go ahead and share with others who might benefit from it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So connect with us on all our social media platforms and leave your comment below. I enjoy conversing with you there. And if no one has told you today, let me take a moment to say that I love you and I believe in you, and I hope you embrace all the beautiful opportunities that life has to offer. It's SMOPPY'S world, saying stay blessed, stay loving, and God bless.